Hello everyone, welcome to A Corner Farming in the Philippines. Many people have asked and were curious how the Azolla did in this rice field. You can see it's pretty thick right in there. I can see it clearly from my vantage point here. The thing with Azolla is that I think with this particular Azolla, it couldn't move around that much. It couldn't spread out just on the wind. But there's Azolla there. There's Azolla all out through there. So it did well in this field, and I'm assuming it will eventually die because these fields are going to dry up at some point, and the Azolla will die. And when it dies, it'll just be that much more nitrogen back into the soil, which is, there were several reasons why this rice crop was a joke. It was so pathetic. And I'm leaning towards it was the poor condition of the soil and a lack of fertilizer. Marcel is leaning towards rats and birds, and Tatai is Marcel's thinking it's rats and birds and some kind of bug that came from the neighbors, because they harvested right when our field was at its most vulnerable. That's how I understand it. Tatai thinks it was pretty much solely whatever that bug was that came from the neighbor's field. Perhaps it's a combination of all, but you can only solve you can't solve anything unless you figure it out. Now, we've talked about it this morning about what we're going to do with these rice fields. The consensus is that we're going to try it one more time, but we're going to plant to coincide with what is going on with the neighbors' fields. It means we're gonna plant at the same time and plan to harvest roughly at the same time, rather than offset like we did this time. Because we have this well here and knew that we would have enough water, was the reason that we planted in the dry season, what is considered the dry season. Now, the dry season never came to fruition this year. We never really had a dry season. It just continued to rain. But, no one has a crystal ball. Who knows what's going to happen the next dry season or this wet season or what's going to happen. So, the consensus is we're going to try this again. We're going to take what we've learned and try to get at least a break-even harvest next time. So it's going to be, they're just now planting these fields, so it's going to be about, I'm thinking at least 2 months, maybe 3, before this is going to be replanted. And at that time, we haven't even talked about, are we gonna spend the money again for the hybrid seeds? My whole thing with buying the hybrid seeds was because we have small fields, why not get the most bang for the buck? But I'm not real keen on spending money again on hybrid seeds when we didn't even get back, no, we didn't even get back the cost of the seed, let alone the tractoring, the prep, the planting, all the rest of it. I haven't done a complete breakdown on the cost. It was around 14,000 pesos, give or take 250 pesos one way or another. And that's for seed, field prep, gas, labor for the planting and harvesting is right around 14,000. And Maricel, from looking at the sacks of grain and what she perceives we'll get out of that, I was thinking 1 sack. She says 1.5 to 2 sacks of actual milled rice. If we take the high end of that, 2 sacks, that's 4,000 pesos. Because I'm basing the amount as compared to what it would be retail price. Because these fields were never planted to grow rice to sell. These fields were planted for rice for personal consumption. And so if we're growing rice for us to eat, then the comparison price-wise is what we would have to pay for rice at the store. And that's 2,000 to 2,200 pesos per sack. That's the retail price of rice right now. So best case, if we end up getting 2 sacks from the mill, that's about 4,000 pesos. A sack and a half is 3,000 pesos. 1 sack is 2,000. So, you know, it really doesn't matter. This rice endeavor was a colossal loss. There's no other way to put it. This was an amalgamation of errors. Tatay's raised rice many times, and he said he's never had problems with insects like we had in this field. So you know, it was just a combination of things that all came together and combined for a pitiful harvest. And pitiful is is putting it lightly. I was going to walk down here and look around a little more to see if I could spot some more Azolla. I don't think it ever had a lot of coverage because it just can't, like I say, it can't move around in here between the rice stalks. And I don't see much over here in this portion, because honestly I can't remember if I ever put any in this field here. And it didn't cover well in this one. It spread out some, but not much. So that's the update on the rice field. That's kind of our tentative plan and moving forward, so that hopefully next time it'll be mo better. That's all you can do, is learn from your mistakes. So I have no idea what the next step is. You know, in Northern California, everything was allowed. You know, after the harvest, the stalks were allowed to dry up and die, and then they were burned. The Sacramento Valley was a smoky place during the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s. They, for the most part, banned the burning of rice fields in the 90s, 2000 or so. It still happened occasionally, but they came up with different methods to get rid of the rice straw, other than just burning it. So I don't know how we're going to do it here. I have no idea what Tatay and crew plan to do with these stalks, and how the field should be prepped moving forward. So you guys get to watch and see how that's going to go. I'm trying to get out of here. I'm still wearing my slippers. Trying to get out of here without getting them feet full of mud. So we're all on the ride together. We're gonna see how this works out. Thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.